Hey everyone, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. It's the season. I don't know how it's the season because I'm pretty sure it was just July, but it's the season and I love Christmas. Christmas is one of my favorite times of years. I think it's because of all of the lights and the sparkle and I don't know, just it's like a magical time. And so I found these resin templates on, I think it's Pour Away Fluid Arts. They're a UK company. I think they're in the UK. And they have these gorgeous templates and you can get them with the acrylic bases, which is the piece that's on the mat. And so all you do is you just take these templates and then you adhere them to the acrylic bases. And then you can fill them in. You can fill them in with UV resin. You could fill them in with epoxy. You could really fill them in with whatever makes you happy. But I am going to be filling them in with resin. And I decided to use UV resin rather than epoxy just because I thought that this was going to take a long time, and it did. It took about an hour per piece just to make sure that, and it's probably just because I'm slow, but it took me a while. So I did it with UV resin and with glitter because I just wanted it to be super sparkly and I wanted the lights on the tree to shine through it. And so you can get that with alcohol inks, and you could theoretically get it if you use just a little bit of mica, but with the glitter, it will really shine through, which was kind of what I was going for. So with these acrylic bases, there is a protective film on both sides of the base just to make sure that it doesn't get scratched or anything like that in transit before you use it. And so you just want to make sure that you take off that piece of plastic before you start your project. And once you get your plastic off, you want to really give the acrylic base a good cleaning. I'm just using some 99% isopropyl alcohol just to make sure, I put my dirty fingers all over it, and so I just want to make sure it's completely clean. And that way, when we take our UV resin to adhere the template to it, that there aren't any issues with it. And I'm using the Let's Resin UV resin, the high viscosity. It's one of my favorites. It just where you put it is where it stays, so you don't have to worry about, especially in a top coat or something like that, it running over the sides. So I am just going to put not a lot, just a little bit, and use one of my silicone tools to just move it out to the sides. We want to make sure that there's really good coverage on the piece, so that way when we go to put our star down, that it will stick in all of the right places. You're going to want to make sure there's a really good seal so that none of your resin runs out from underneath your star. So I just used my finger to push the star down. Make sure it's really well aligned with the way you want it to be on your acrylic blank, because once you put it under the lamp and it is cured, it is not going to come off. So just make sure before you cure it that it's exactly where you want it to be. And I'm just going to pop this in my curing lamp, my Let's Resin double-sided lamp. It's pretty awesome because it cures from both the top and the bottom at the same time. And I'm going to put it in for about a minute and a half, and this just to make sure that everything is completely cured, and that way we won't have any leakage. So I'm going to be using a bunch of different glitters today. I have to tell you, I found this glitter company that's amazing. It's called Peachy Olive Glitters, and they also have Olive Glitters Outlet, I think, and they have some of the most stunning, beautiful, gorgeous glitters in just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of colors. It's amazing. And I've been on a glitter kick lately, so I really just wanted to bring a ton of sparkle and shine. So I just mixed up a little bit of UV resin and different colors of glitter and filled in each one of those little tiny pieces of the star. I used a bunch of different glitters, and so between each color I did cure those for about 30 seconds just to set them, and that way if I accidentally got another color on top of the one that I had already done, then I could just wipe it off and it was no big deal. it took me maybe 45 minutes to an hour to get everything filled in and cured and just make sure that it was exactly the way I wanted it to look. And then it was a little bit uneven in the finish, so I did want to just put a top coat on it, so that way when you run your finger across it, it just feels the way it's supposed to, completely smooth and just perfection. So I did go ahead and put a top coat on and then give that a cure for about 2 minutes and then moved on to the Christmas tree.
So for the Christmas tree, I just followed the same steps. I put down a thin layer of UV resin and just used my finger to spread it out. I feel like I get a little bit better control with my finger. I can make sure that I can get a really thin coat. Sometimes with the silicone tools, I feel like I don't get the best coverage. So I just dove right in like a 3-year-old and did some finger painting with the UV resin. And I gave it a quick cure under the UV lamp for about a minute and then started mixing up some glitters. The one thing I can say about my glitter obsession is that I have a whole line of colors and you can pretty much mix them together to get whatever you want. So there were 2 of the greens that I have from Peachy Olive Glitters. One is Christmas Town and the other one I think is Banner. So I just mixed them together to get this perfect green. And then I'm going to try and use some of the brighter colors for the ornaments just to give the tree some, I don't know, something a little bit different. Not necessarily the red, the green, the silver, the blue, but just something a little bit brighter and a little bit more pastel Christmas. Does anyone else do a non-traditional color scheme for the holidays? We have pretty much always kind of stuck with the traditional, but this year we've decided to go pastel. So we decorated the entire front of our house in light pink, and there's a light green. It's kind of a minty color, some silver, so I guess there's a little traditional there. But we've just decided to we're going all in on the pastels this year. I just feel like we needed a change of pace. So I'm just going to take the UV resin and fill in all of the big pieces. This one is so much easier to do than the star because the star had all of those little individual facets, but this one is just basically the big green sections and then the ornaments. So it is so much easier and it went so much faster to fill this one in. So I'm just going to continue to fill in each one of the sections using my dotting tool to move the UV resin into all of the sides and making sure that all of those little points are all completely filled in. So I will continue to do that, and then once all is said and done, I will come back to you and we will finish up with this project. It has been so much fun. It did take a little bit longer than I thought, but I didn't even realize it was taking as long as it was. It's been just a really fun project, and my daughter can't wait to actually sit down and make some with me. I cannot tell you how excited I am at how these turned out. They are beautiful from the front. They are beautiful from the back. That sparkle is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I cannot wait until these are on a tree with all the lights just shining through with all of that shimmer. It's going to be stunning. And I can't wait to make more of these. I have, I think, 4 or 5 left. and I can't wait. My daughter and I are actually going to make a few together. So that's also a great little thing about this, is that you can bring the whole family together, especially if you're doing UV resin. You're not worried as much about the harmful chemicals and all of that. So I'm just going to put some ribbons on these, just some basic red ribbons. You can use really anything you want, but I thought red would be, tie it back to the traditional Christmas. And these ribbons actually came with the ornaments. If I was going to put my own ribbon in, I think I would use a thinner one. It was a little bit of a challenge to get it through the tiny hole at the top, but a little bit of perseverance and maybe a little bit of fraying on the ends. And they're all done, and they are everything that I wanted them to be. They are absolutely perfect. I hope you love these as much as I do, and I hope that you give them a try. If you do, please put some pictures in the comments. I'd love to see the ornaments that you guys come up with. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today on this project. It's just been really fantastic. So I really appreciate your support and all the time that we spend together. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button. Thanks everyone. See you soon.